What up, y'all? What up, y'all? It's the Sports Mix. Big Kenny checking in, man. Week one in the books. Week one in the books, man. Get a little Baltimore football recap. I know. You get in trouble if you use the name. You know what I'm saying? So, eh, eh, I can't afford the fine, so I'm gonna just call it the Baltimore football recap. We talking about the home team, of course. Got my man Dean O
Yes,
checking
sir.
out, checking in with me.
Yes, sir.
So week one, man, give me your thoughts overall of what you saw today.
I'm okay. I'm okay with it. They was raggedy. They was sloppy.
Yeah,
A lot of penalties. Uh,
yeah,
but but the bottom line is they got the win. And I think as the game went on, the offense got a little smoother. And and I'm okay. We got to win. And you factor in the Steelers getting beat up pretty good, and
hmm
then Cincinnati going down.
hmm
Um, yeah, it's a good win for the Ravens.
yeah. I agree. I take it. Definitely. Not the prettiest game. Slow start offensively for sure. A little sloppy. Really couldn't get nothing going the first half. They got some couple things going the second half. Um, like you, just looking at the offense, I guess is going to be a work in progress. With a lot of them guys really not playing in preseason, and this kind of some of their first like real game action, other than practicing and whatever. So, um, we got the W. Well, they got the W. I'm not on the team, but they got the W. Big win, first game of the season, way to start the season off. Um, so I'm gonna take the W and look for improvements week to week. The couple injuries, are definitely of some concern. Um, look like Dobbins, man, that didn't look good with him going off the field. Um, Ronnie Stanley went off, but I saw him on the sidelines moving around, so maybe his thing isn't so serious. Marcus Williams went out after that big hit he put on that receiver coming across the middle there.
Shoulder, yeah.
And then who else?
Linderbaum.
Linderbaum, yeah, Linderbaum at the end. At least he walked off the field, but still, you don't know until they check him out. So, some key players with some injuries in the first game. You don't want to see injuries ever, but again, they playing football. This is not double dutch. It's a contact sport. Injuries happen. It's part of the game, whether it happens in preseason, whether it happened in the first game, whether it happened in the 17th game, Super Bowl, whatever. Injuries gonna happen. So let's talk about the first half of this game. Uh, so I kind of took a few notes. So first half, first possession, 3-and-out. Uh, the interception on the second possession,
Yeah.
and then they scored on the third possession with a Dobbins touchdown. So Dobbins did get in the end zone. Again, just offensively, real sluggish. Real sluggish looking. Just I don't know that the expectation right out the gate was for them to put up 60 points. But it's going to be some growing pains. But what's your overall thoughts? Just how the offense looked.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it. The expectations for one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but when you think about Lamar Jackson didn't play the last six regular season games, didn't play the playoff game last year,
Mm-hmm.
didn't play in the preseason. So it's been months since he's been out on the field playing
Yeah.
with the team. You think about uh, the new offensive scheme. Uh, that's going to take a while, to get some chemistry going and get into the rhythm. So that's another challenge for the team. You got, new players in. Um, Mark Andrews was out.
Mhm.
So there was some challenges for this Ravens team, but you think about, I mean, a lot of penalties.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
A lot of penalties going on there. The bad throw by Lamar when they were in scoring.
yeah,
In
yeah.
yeah, so that took some points off the board. So that was some things, a lot of things. Uh, to take away the offensive line was horrible in the first half. The pass protection, man, was ridiculously
Yeah,
poor.
yeah,
So I was a little surprised that Houston was able to get that push, so much rush on Lamar. He had no time in the first half.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
So going into the locker room, if you hadn't really seen football before, first game football, you would be a little nervous and thinking, "Oh my God, what's up with this team?" But
Yeah,
it's the first game of the season, and they got a new offense, got a new guy calling plays. The offensive line is transitioning from a run heavy offense to now a wide open offense. So those are challenges there. The Ravens, they kind of got it together, and I'm satisfied with the win. Of course, we always want to see things go a little bit. We want things to be perfect, but
yeah.
I'm happy with the win.
All right. So just offensively, what do you think about defensively? How did you think they did defensively?
I thought the defense was better um, than than the offense, and I think overall in the NFL, usually early in the season, the defense is a little bit ahead of the offenses.
Right, right.
There's a lot of execution stuff with the offense that needs to be that chemistry needs to be there for things to flow. But
Yeah,
defensively, man, I thought Clowney had a good game. I
yeah.
thought he was disruptive. I thought he played strong. I thought Malik Harris was solid.
Mhm.
He was out there and had some plays and was out there on the field. Um, Oway looked to be a little bit more active. He looked strong with that 99 on his back,
Yeah,
man. Even though he didn't get a sack or anything, he did put some pressure on, hit the quarterback a couple of times. His partner, number
Jabo,
Ajabo, made
yeah.
a big play, strip.
Strip sack, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So and Darby was out there. I thought Darby was solid. So overall, I'm okay with that defense.
yeah, yeah. And then Smith, super solid as usual. And Queen had some big plays as well. I think
Yeah.
I think them two together,
Oh man,
they are a hell of a tandem in that middle, man.
dynamic duo, man.
But I think like you mentioned Clowney, I think Clowney, man, really, really, really was the difference on the end. He was getting a little pressure. Matter of fact, he was in that backfield a lot.
A lot.
He was in that backfield a lot, man. He's putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure his minutes are going to increase
Yes.
as the season goes. I know he just came up. He just signed like 2-3 weeks ago, so he didn't really participate in training camp too much. But I wouldn't be surprised if he become that number one in Russia. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He become one of the starters because I mean, we know Clowney. He got a resume, so it's not like he coming out here with a resume. He had a bad year last year, of course, but I wouldn't be surprised if by maybe week 5 or 6, or even maybe halfway 7, 8, that he become he's a starter and his minutes will increase, man. Because and then having that depth on them ends, having being able to rotate guys in and out and having guys that's getting pressure. Because like you say, Ojabo and my man number 99,
Way.
Oway, both was getting in there.
Yes.
So they were getting pressure. And the Ravens did finish with 5 sacks. So a couple of them were on the blitz. I know the corner got a blitz at the end, got a safety, got a sack at the end there.
Guys.
But I was impressed with the defense. They didn't give up a touchdown,
Yeah, how about that?
which that's kind of old school Ravens. We
Yes,
what would they used to call it? Bend but don't break.
that's it.
The bend but don't break defense.
Yeah.
So they're gonna give up something. Maybe not. But they didn't give up any touchdowns today, which was a good look. Um, now I will say this. Defense was played well. I think the young quarterback for Houston looked really good, man.
Oh man.
I think he looked really good in spite of the pressure that he was under because he made some plays. He made a few plays down there. He got himself out of some trouble.
Right future for that young man.
Yeah, he looked like he's gonna be a player in the league. So
Right future.
um, again, I give the Ravens credit, Ravens defense credit for not giving up the touchdown. Bending but not breaking, as we used to say, and didn't give up anything big on special teams, which was good. But the defense was solid. If I had to grade the defense overall, I'd say maybe a B minus.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a B minus for the defense. There were some plays that they, kind of gave up and could have got a little ugly, but it didn't.
Yeah, I'm
Off,
going along with you with that B.
yeah. So the second half in the offense, and like I think you said it earlier, toward the end of the first half, looked like the offense found something.
Mm-hmm.
Where they started to move the ball a little bit. Dobbins got in the end zone. I think that was off a turnover because they was on a short
Yeah,
field. But in the second half they get two TDs. Hill got two touchdowns, kind of back to back. What was the CBC? We had a sack and a punt, and then the turnover on downs. And that was a suspect call for Houston too when they went for it on fourth down,
man.
or on the opposite side, on the Raven side of the field.
I didn't like that call.
Yeah, that was a suspect call on coach, the young coach there. But
Yeah,
the Ravens were able to turn that into some points. So the running game again with Dobbins being the number one guy and him going out with injury, and that was inside the 20 as well, wasn't it?
yeah,
When he got hurt.
yeah. I think so. Yeah, he
Yeah,
was.
I think they were driving.
Yes,
There may have been the drive where
I think Gus Hill scored on that drive.
yeah, yeah. So Dobbins injury, man, and I saw a preliminary report. I don't know how accurate it is that it could be an ACL, which is not good
Not
for
good.
for that young man that's trying to get paid. He's in his contract year.
Yeah,
He was upset that he hadn't been able to work out a deal to this point. And the way running backs have been kind of not getting deals done. Even some really big name running backs had some issues getting deals done in the off season. With an injury to him in a contract year, that won't bode well for him getting a big contract. The next season. So I hope that young man is not injured severely as it's being reported, but this is not looking good. Like you said, the way they carried him off the field
it didn't look good.
didn't look good. It didn't look good for him, man. So I just keep him in my prayers, man. Just hope that he's not as injured as severely as it looked.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it has been confirmed. Also, I did get some kind of notification that it was confirmed that it
it was
is.
confirmed.
Uh,
Yeah, see, and that's just not a good look. Not a good look for the young fella, man. Because I like Dobbins. I've liked him since day one. I've liked Dobbins from day one, man. He plays hard. He's a tough runner. And he kind of fit this team and fit this offense really well. And I was looking to see the maturation. He dealt with some injuries over the last couple of years, so this is a tough break for that young fella, and especially trying to get paid, trying to get his money. So, um, yeah, just pulling for him. And then I think we talked about Ronnie Stanley. He went out. Like I said, I saw him on the sideline after, during the game after he was out of the game. So I don't,
yeah,
maybe they just kept him out as a precaution. at this point. Hopefully, that's what that was.
That's what it seemed.
Yeah. And then Tyler Linderbaum, the starting center, you know, him going out. So I hope that's not a big thing as well. You know, just having a solid offensive line is key to having, you know, with a kid like Lamar Jackson back there. And they got some pressure on Lamar today.
Yes,
You
they
know,
did.
they got to Lamar a little bit. They kind of disrupted what he likes to do. You know, getting away. He wasn't able to get away from people as he usually does. He had a couple good runs, but this looked like Houston had him dialed up. They were definitely not going to let Lamar do Lamar on them today. So,
Yeah, a lot of pressure. Yeah, and again, the offensive line is a chemistry thing also.
yeah.
And then transitioning is big. But yeah, I think when we look at the defense overall,
Mm-hmm.
you got to keep in mind that it's a defense that didn't have its starting corners, either one
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
play today, and then you also Bowser, uh,
Right.
no
Right.
Bowser out there also. So and then
Right.
Marcus Williams went down kind of early with the shoulder injury. So you're looking at four starting players who didn't really, three who didn't play at all, and then Marcus Williams played just a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
this defense is definitely to be reckoned with.
So, what's your thoughts on the young fella Zay Flowers?
Well, they, Zay doing his thing, man. I haven't been. Typically the Ravens are known to be a team that draft really well. And, I'm looking at this draft. We didn't have a second round pick. And you think about Simpson, the linebacker out of Clemson, the third round pick, who I haven't really seen or heard too much about what he's been doing this preseason. So, I'm not that. Of course, the draft, you always have to wait to see how it turned out, but I'm not that overly thrilled with the Ravens draft. But when
Mm-hmm.
you get a diamond like Zay Flowers, man,
Yeah. Yeah.
he has made the draft a good draft all by himself.
Yes.
And more to come with that dude, man. He's going to be a lot of fun. Already Lamar went to him a lot, and
Yes.
I know some of those little screen plays out there, the little reverses that they run. They're definitely trying to get that dude into their offense. I like what.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They definitely made a concerted effort to get him the ball today, man. I mean, he had a couple little jet sweeps.
Yeah,
They were definitely throwing it to him. The quick little screens and all that stuff. So
he got
so
his.
clearly he's a playmaker that they gonna try to get the ball to in a
Yeah,
lot of different ways. And yeah, he looked like he's gonna be fun to watch. He looked like he's gonna be fun to watch, man. So I'm excited to see his growth and really how he progresses, man, in this first season.
before is the real deal. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I said that the other night when we were talking about it. I said he legit.
yeah,
Just really waiting to see him under the lights. And he didn't disappoint. He didn't have a huge game, but he made a couple plays. He made, he kind of had you kind of looking at him like, okay, yeah,
yeah.
he can play. He gonna be legit. All right.
I,
So the other wide out there that OBJ.
yeah, yeah.
What was your thoughts on his performance today?
Yeah, I like what I saw in OBJ, man. I like what I saw. I know he didn't make a big splash. He had a couple of pass interference calls against him. Though they just as good as a catch, and then he did make a couple of catches out there, and a couple of highlights. They saw him in there making some good blocks and
Yeah,
like that. I think he cleared the hole open for Justice Hill on one of his touchdowns.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
what I saw him, man, he was moving good.
yeah.
He made that nice over the shoulder catch. Lamar dropped it in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
OBJ looked like he's ready, man, and I'm glad he's a Raven.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think like you said, like we said earlier, just with repetition, getting a little more comfortable with the offensive set, them guys playing together a little bit more, they'll be a lot more explosive than they
Mm-hmm.
were today. I think it looked like Houston was really geared up to shut Lamar down, to really not let Lamar kind of do the things he usually does, and and so they kind of putting some pressure on him, forcing him to do some things. Like you said, he had the bad interception, just throwing off his back foot, really didn't get anything on that ball. Uh, so and then it was getting picked off. Um, even when he did get out the pocket the one time with the fumble when they knocked it out of his hand, just being careless with the football,
Yeah.
and those are things I know, and I know he knows he's got to clean up. Um, so it wasn't a great game, wasn't a great game by Lamar, wasn't a great offensive game overall, but there were some signs, there were some things that we can look forward to, in the next coming weeks. Um, Again, Zay Flowers, you know, OBJ made a couple plays, like you said. You know, I'm a fan of Gus Edwards. So Gus, I think Gus is going to do well. He'll probably move into the starting spot if there's significant injury to Dobbins, which it seems
Yeah.
like it is. Gus and Hill seems like he's coming around. He seems like he's coming around. I wasn't always a big Justice Hill guy in the last few years, man, just because he just seemed to me like a special team guy, and occasionally he could make a play here and there. But today he kind of looked like, and I guess Justice Hill maybe in his third year, fourth year,
Something like that.
so he's
Yeah.
been around for a couple years. So maybe he's just growing into the role, getting more comfortable with his role on the team, and it's just but he was got him a couple touchdowns today. I'm sure some fantasy football owners that took him probably were happy about that. Got got him some points that way. I know I took Gus on mine, so Gus didn't get me a nickel. So yeah, it is what it is. And I'm not a big fantasy guy, but I play occasionally. Just the little FanDuel stuff. I'll do the 1 day.
The day
Uh,
only.
yeah, it's just the
Yeah.
game day games or whatever. I tie my hand at that. I think I had a free game to play, and I
Okay.
utilized that. I didn't use any of my coins to play the game or whatever. Another big thing from the offense was not having Mark Andrews. You know, not having him. We know that's Lamar's kind of safety valve. Whenever he's in trouble, whenever a play needs to be made, he's going to 89. He didn't have that today, so I guess they were trying to feed it to Zay. Get Zay involved, but
Yeah.
you know, talk about the just not having Andrews out there, and what that kind of does to Lamar and the
Yeah.
offensive team.
Well, we know Mark Andrews is all pro.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Know that Mark Andrews command a lot of attention,
Mm-hmm.
and when defenses get up their schemes, their game plan against the Ravens, Mark Andrews is a big part of their game plan. We got to stop number 89. So with
Yes.
him on the field, um, it's huge. So you throw him out there, and of course Bateman had a decent game too.
Yeah.
Uh, so you throw those guys out there, and if Mark Andrews is out there, the All-Pro Mark Andrews,
Mm-hmm.
that's really tough for the defense to deal with. I was definitely a little bit surprised that Likely didn't catch more balls or get more balls thrown his way. I think he might
Mm-hmm.
maybe one catch, and that was like on the first series.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't see him. He had a real quiet game. Um, but Andrews, man, he's been Lamar's guy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, so he's not there. So that's a big part. And again, with the offense, um, struggling a little bit early and not clicking and still trying to work this new offense in. And then on top of that, there's no Mark Andrews out there. So I think we got to put all of that in context.
Yeah, yeah. So definitely, um, not having Andrews, and is there any word on how long he'll be out?
Yeah, they've been a little quiet about the injury and moving up towards the first game of the season. He may not play. He may not play. The vibe that I've been getting is that it's not that serious.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, so maybe we'll see him in game two. We'll need him because the Bengals going to be looking to get it straight after losing that game today to Cleveland.
Yeah, it looked like they lost pretty big.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to go to 0-2
Oh, 1-2.
and especially with the Ravens or losing to the Ravens, who would be then 2-0.
Yeah, 24 to 3.
Yeah.
24 to 3. So that's now I don't know if that's saying the Bengals are that bad or the Browns are that much better.
Tough to tell.
Tough to tell, but without actually watching the game, it's a little tough to tell.
Tough to tell.
Just kind of looking at some of the scores, some of the early scores, while we going through. Buccaneers beat the Vikings 2017. Atlanta beat Carolina 24-10. Washington beat Arizona 2016. Jacksonville beat the Colts 31-21. Pittsburgh lost pretty big, 30-7 to the 49ers. And let me see, Saints beat the Titans 15-16. So those are the early games.
Yeah.
So we got the Steelers and the Bengals both starting the season off with L's. So we just hopeful, man. The offense, like we said, is a work in progress. They are new offensive coordinator. They got some new pieces there, trying to build this thing up. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of expectation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of expectation on the team offensively to get better. Of course, Lamar Jackson got the money, so you're gonna always hear about the money when things don't go well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be on the table forever. That's going to be on the table until he wins, until he's the quarterback of a Super Bowl winning team, or they make deep runs into the playoffs. I'll just say the goal lines are always going to keep getting moved.
Yeah.
The goal line will keep getting moved. So first it was he couldn't win a playoff game. He won a playoff game. And then it was now he's injury prone and he's a quitter and all this other stuff. So, it is what it is with Lamar. I'm a Lamar guy. I know you're a Lamar guy. So we know we keep our expectations tempered. We know what we're working with as far as he's concerned, and a lot of the criticism. So let me bring up my next guest, gentleman that I've listened to on the Baltimore airways quite a bit over the years. Man, joining me, he's a big Baltimore guy, Ravens fan, Orioles fan, does some work with Pressbox. Welcome to the Sports Mix, Ken Zalis, KZ. Welcome, my brother.
What's up, my man? How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing great. It's always good when the Ravens win. So
it's good when the Ravens win. It came at a cost we don't want to pay, but
right. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit.
Hopefully that's all it costs. We'll see what the other MRIs show. But I mean, it's it's always good to be 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
You beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and then you move forward and see what everything is. But liked a lot of things I saw. It's fun to have a real personnel package on offense.
Yeah, so this kind of give me your thoughts on the game. You kind of broke it down a little bit, but just give me your thoughts overall on what you saw offensively and defensively.
I can see what they're trying to do. Let's be fair. The the new NFL, these guys don't play in the preseason, and you're seeing across the whole NFL today. You're seeing a lot of sloppy games, a lot of people who haven't been on the field with each other, and this is the first time that this starting offense has ever been on the field together with all these new parts, and you were already down one of your big components, which is Mark Andrews. So I don't know what I expected today. I guess my expectation wasn't real high. I expected them to win the game, but look, I love how they seemingly want to get the ball into Zay's hands quickly and let him use his legs and his open field ability. They probably got too cute with it near the end of the game, trying to force feed it a little bit. If you play fantasy football, thank you for those 2 PPR points, but it didn't go anywhere. But I mean, they had trips to one side and threw a screen pass. I mean, right. I mean, every NFL team does that except the Ravens over the past couple of years. So that was fun. I liked what I saw, what I saw and believe I'll see more of, which is if this offense continues to grow the way I think it's going to, and they use those formations, Lamar Jackson is going to find lots of room to run against opposing defenses, because you can't account for him as much as you could when you had 11 guys within 3 feet of the offensive line. Yeah. And I like the way I like the way that the quick handoffs worked, especially on near the goal line. I mean, Justice Hill scoring on the first one was terrific, and the way that just looked, it just felt open, and it didn't feel like the Ravens always seeming like in Roman's offense brought the entire defense to where you wanted to run. And it worked a lot of times because you had dynamic players and you have one-of-one with Lamar. But now everything's so spread out, and I really like that. I know they didn't take many shots downfield, and part of that was because the offensive line really wasn't giving any protection. But they were able, even though they didn't connect anything, I love that they drew a couple of downfield PIs, with Odell and liked Bateman coming back. You saw glimpses of what we all thought we were going to see last year before he got hurt. So in my mind, it's all going to work. Now, offensive line has to get better.
Yes.
The team as a whole can't commit 13 penalties a game. The secondary, either the secondary's got to get better and healthier, or they have to find a pass rush.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts? So what were your thoughts on the pass rush? We talked about a little earlier.
I think what I've always thought, that every once in a while you see it, but it's not consistent.
Right.
It's just not consistent enough. It's like, the play Ojabo made, it's like fantastic, and the one play that Owe made was fantastic, but too many times, like, you're still being forced to bring extra people to get pressure on a rookie quarterback.
Yeah. With
against a team that 3 of their offensive starting linemen were out and a 4th one went out during the game. You should be able to run through a team like that. Yeah. And I didn't see that.
Yeah. So what do you think about Clowney? What do you think Clowney brought to the pass rush?
It's fine. We get caught up in names. Clowney's a name. What's he had? 39 sacks over 9 years.
Has it been 9 years?
9 years. I mean, we're not. You're not bringing a Bosa brother over. I mean, it's great. I mean, you can't have enough guys. I mean, I would have preferred to have Justin Houston. Justin Houston had 9 sacks last year.
So did he get picked up anyway?
Yeah, I believe he did.
He did.
Carolina, I think.
I think somebody picked him up.
I think so.
But but it's week 1. None of these guys have played together. I think, the next 3 weeks will tell you a lot.
Yeah, I'm a 4-week guy I like to
Well,
see
I
the
think
first 4 weeks
I
before
agree with that. I think you got to
yeah,
see where you are after 4 weeks.
yeah. That's usually how I do it every year. I wait till the
Yeah,
first 4 games and then I try to,
yeah.
you know,
I think that's fair. I
yeah,
think that's 100% fair.
yeah.
That you wait to see what the first 4 weeks are. You hope that you're 2-2 or better. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we're giving them 2-2. We prefer them to be 3-1. Split. You got to figure they beat Indianapolis, and you got to then can you split the 2 division games,
So they got
and then you go from there. But
yeah.
I did, maybe it's my imagination getting the best of me, but just based on the formations that I saw and the way they were trying to use all the new parts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I see what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I see what you're
Yeah.
trying to do. I think that can work.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, week 1 is the first time a lot of these guys are really playing together, other than practicing.
Right.
So you got the live bullets coming at you. So it's a different look, and it's going to be some growing pains for sure. And really, these first 3 to 4 weeks is pretty much like the preseason for those guys.
Well, that's what it's become. That's
Yeah.
what it's become.
Yeah, it's going to be
And
the preseason for the starters.
and you
Until they
just,
kind of get some
I
footing.
mean, just think if Andrews is back in week 2, it's the first time he's ever played in this offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And
it's again, it's always funny because I've been doing this a long time. You've been doing this a long time. You get on after a win and you start to complain about things, and it's like I don't want to complain. I mean, the 13 penalties, we all know that's unacceptable. We all knew coming into the season the secondary was going to be a question mark, and then you lost another piece in Marcus Williams, which hopefully that's not long term again, because and then the pass rush we knew was a question mark, and
mm-hmm.
you got to give it time. I like their coordinators. Let's put it that way. I like their coordinators, and
Mm-hmm.
I think they can get it done. It's just, but they got to answer some of those questions. And like you said, let's see. Let's really grade it out after week 4 and reassess where they are and what they need to do. I was talking to somebody else. Somebody said, "Do they need to go get a running back?" And I was like, "Well, not until week 4."
Right.
I mean,
right.
Let's see what they have. I like the kid Mitchell in the preseason. I loved when they signed him as a free agent, and we won't see him till week 5 at the earliest because he's on IR. And so I don't know if they need a running back.
Yeah, and he ran it pretty hard in the preseason too.
I loved it. I loved what he did in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
I loved his game. When they signed him as an undrafted free agent, I wrote about it. I was like, we always say which of these guys is going to make the roster. I'm like, he's the guy that's going to make the roster. He was really good at ECU. And the devaluation of running backs has led all the way into the draft where they don't even get drafted anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of good undrafted free agents at the running back position every year. So I think Denver just put one on their roster for this year. So, I think it's going to work. I think it's, Ravens fans have to be reminded sometimes this isn't the Roman offense. It's not reliant on the running back solely anymore.
Right.
They're going to have to throw the ball to be successful.
Now, from a business standpoint, with Dobbins looking to get paid, and now his injury, and like you said, the running backs aren't as valued as they were. It's just the timing of it is just terrible for him.
It's terrible. It really is. Look, in all of this, you feel horrible for him.
Mm-hmm.
You feel horrible. From all accounts, he's a great kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm old enough to say kid.
Yeah, all of us are.
Yeah. I mean, he seems like a great kid. Does good work in the community. Mm-hmm. Wants to be a Raven. Look, we all want to get paid.
Yeah.
And I was never mad at him, and I do. It's terrible, but in going back to it, it was always with Dobbins. It was like, you haven't been healthy the last 2 years. You got to show you can get through 16 games healthy to even consider getting paid.
Yeah.
And that sounds like such a harsh thing to say today with the injury. But that was my thought when he was going through it all. It's like, yeah, you're right. You probably deserve more, but reality is they're not going to pay you until you prove you're healthy.
Yeah.
And here we are again. And for a running back, Achilles is a tough one, guys. You know that.
Yeah.
You know that. I mean, very few have been the same after it. And it just, that part sucks. It just sucks.
It does.
And, I hope he comes back healthy. I hope he's a Raven next year. And, he can live up to his potential, but it stinks for that on a personal level. It just stinks for that kid.
Yeah. And one of the things I always talk about from a fan's perspective, the business of sport is not pretty.
No, it's not.
Fans, we love players and we fall in love with players, but the business side of it is not pretty. And this young man, again, like you say, he's been a great young man in the community, a fan favorite. But I think he's gonna fall victim to the business side of it, from just trying to get his what he feels he's worth, especially after the injuries and the injury.
Yeah, I mean, we all know now, and his people know. I mean, when he comes back, he's gonna have to have a prove-it contract and things like that, and that's the business side of it. I mean, it's why I'll never ever say a contract was good or bad.
Right.
You're worth what they pay you. I mean, if they, look, Joe Burrow just became the highest paid quarterback in the history of the NFL, and he stunk today. I mean, he stunk. He had 81 yards.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so
81 total yards, and they looked like the worst football team I had seen in a long time. And people will look at that score and say, "Oh my God, the Browns are for real. They blew out the Bengals in week 1." The Browns looked just as bad. Burrow was just worse.
Yeah.
Wow. It's just whatever they get paid, they get paid.
Yeah.
You're worth what somebody's willing to pay you. That's what we are. Whether it's in the NFL or whether it's in real life and in our jobs, whatever somebody's willing to pay you is what you're worth.
Yes, and that's what I say. With all of the back and forth we had about Lamar Jackson and his contract last year, and he's not worth this, and he's not worth. You're worth what somebody willing to pay you.
That's right.
And the Ravens ponied up, and they felt like he was the guy, and so we're gonna have to deal with the ups and downs of him as well. I think today, I don't know if you saw it as well, like I saw it. It looked like Houston kind of prepared to not let Lamar beat him.
Yeah, I mean, but that's going to be everybody's game plan. I mean, you go in every, it's the I'm going to make up a word, the Belichickin way of the NFL. Is that a word, Belichickin?
Yeah, you just made it up.
You take away. The defense their job is to take away the thing that they think you do best, and make them beat you another way. So teams are going to try to take away Lamar.
Yeah,
and Lamar's got to figure out, and Moncton's got to figure out. Okay, well, if they're not going to allow Lamar to run, how do we beat them? So I mean, maybe some of those. You got to loosen them up a little bit. Take some more deep shots. Now you need the offensive line to block for more than a half a second.
Yeah.
So he's not running for his life. But you also, I mean, I will say this about the Texans. The defense is going to be the best part of their team this year. They brought in some guys. They brought in a defensive-minded coach. They drafted Will Anderson to be that guy, and he had his first sack today of the season as a rookie. So, Ryans is a good football coach, and he's gonna do well on the defensive side. The offense will take some time to catch up.
Yeah.
But defensively, it's they have some players over there. So, the Ravens scored 25 points. First time out. It'll work. But yeah, I mean, most teams are going to try to take Lamar out.
Yeah, yeah, but with all of the weaponry we have
Right.
now, you figure we would have been able to get a few things going. This really couldn't get the offense going. They got it going a little bit the second half.
A little bit better.
Short field benefit. It helped them benefit a couple times too.
I mean, look, you got to, I mean, Zay's got to excite people. He looked great.
I'm a fan.
And I'll say this: Zay is not the type of typical wide receiver I like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I said it when they drafted him. I was like, yeah, okay, he's got to be great at that size.
Yeah.
But he looks like he could be great. I mean, he's a dynamic, gets open. Nobody can cover him when they send him out on a route.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what his maturation is going to look like.
Yeah, no, I am too.
Yeah,
I am too. I mean, look, somebody said, well, what is he? Is he the new Hollywood Brown? I was like, he better be better than Hollywood Brown. Yeah. I mean, he better be better than Hollywood Brown because that we go way back. They drafted the wrong Brown that year.
What was the other Brown? Went to Tennessee.
AJ Brown.
Yeah.
I screamed. We were covering it on air.
Yeah.
And somebody said, "Who don't you want with this pick if it's a wide receiver?" I said, "I do not want Hollywood Brown. Who do you want?" "I want AJ Brown."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "You can take a Brown. You just have to take the one that's named AJ."
Take the right one. So what did you think about OBJ today?
I really didn't see him until the PI. No, seriously. I mean, he was out there. You couldn't really tell anything from it. Looked healthy.
Yeah.
Looked like he could still run a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's still, because of his size, going to be a matchup nightmare for most corners.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll say this: if the Ravens' offense is really going to take the next step, he's got to be their third best receiver.
So you say Zay,
Bateman, and then Odell. OBJ. And that doesn't mean he's going to be bad. But at this point, those two should be more dynamic than he is.
Yeah.
And he should be a guy like they do. They send long every once in a while, third down, be the veteran that gets open when they double Andrews over the middle. But
that's where I thought you were going with that. I thought you were going to go Zay.
No, I mean, we know that we know that Andrews is the top receiver.
Yeah.
On the team, but I mean literally wide receiver.
Yeah.
I mean literally wide receiver. Look, if Beckham can draw 2 PIs a game, I'm probably good. That's valuable to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You get 80 yards and PIs a game, you have value to me.
Absolutely. And crafty receivers have a way of those PIs.
But he looked healthy. Like, you can tell when guys can't run anymore. Mm-hmm. He didn't look like a guy that couldn't run anymore. Looked like he still had some juice in him.
Yep. So that's week 1. Week 1 in the books, man. We got the W. We'll take it. So KZ, where can the folks follow you? And
So right now, most of the things that I'm doing is on the fantasy side.
Mm-hmm.
My rankings you can find either at Fantasy Pros, and also I think we're going to mirror it on PressBox this year for a little bit. But anything I write will be at Fantasy Pros this year.
Okay. All right. So Fantasy Pros, and we had a interesting discussion about fantasy football the other night. I don't know if you were listening.
I heard. I felt bad that I couldn't get there. I felt bad.
I suck at fantasy, so I'm not a big fan. I suck.
Yeah. Guess what? I've been doing fantasy since '98, and I've been writing it professionally since '03. I haven't won my home league in 20 years. we all suck at it. We all suck at it at certain points.
I'm terrible at it, but I appreciate you jumping on with me.
Hey, I appreciate you invite me.
Definitely won't be the last time. We'll have you back for sure. Any parting words before we sign out?
Hey, 1-0 is better than 0-1.
Absolutely. KZ, I appreciate you.
Take care, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, my man.
Thank you, sir. Right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. That's old KZ, man. So I've been listening to KZ on the airways for quite a few years. And we became friends social media. And there it is.
Yeah, well, you can.
It is, man.
He's well versed in football as a whole. You can hear his knowledge in other teams and what Houston has done this year and the players they brought in and all that. He's well versed on all of that. So
absolutely.
He have his NFL package working because he knew what happened in that Cincinnati.
Yeah. I haven't invested.
I
haven't invested in that. It's hard for me to switch games like that. I got to lock in. You know what I'm saying?
I can do it when I'm watching non-Ravens games.
Yeah. If it's Ravens on, I'm locked in. I ain't no changing the channel. I only like to get up, use the bathroom. I'm locked in.
But I say, man, my thing is that I think that the Ravens, what I'm looking at with the Ravens is if we could flash back to last season and think about moving away from Wink and bringing McDonald in as a defensive coordinator. And if you looked at the first 4 or so games during that season last year, the defense was still scrambling a little bit, trying to get accustomed to McDonald's scheme. And there was a lot of confusion back there in the secondary. But as the season went along, things really became solidified. And of course, when they brought Roquan on, things really became sort of magical with that defense. But I think teams had adjusted to Wink and all that blitzing that he was doing. So I thought it was either the year before they maybe could have moved on him, but definitely by last year moving on him, I thought was good timing. And I'm looking at the offense in the same way. I think that the teams got used to. What's the offensive coordinator last year?
Oh man,
ain't that something?
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, he out of the picture, man.
But I think it's the same sort of thing as they move over to Monken, taking over this offense, and the first 3-4 weeks, just like the defense last year, I think it's going to be some growing pains, getting used to it, getting the rhythm down, getting the chemistry there, and I think pretty much like you were saying, 4 games or so, 4 games is the time frame for us to see that. I think people got used to Greg Roman.
Yeah, I just looked at that.
I think teams got used to Greg Roman's offense. I think 2019 they weren't ready for it, but they became accustomed to it, and the field was compact with his offensive scheme. And Greg Roman is not a bad offensive coordinator.
No.
Failed is that with such a dominant offense where teams had a tough time stopping the offense, but when they started overstacking the box, he had nothing to counter that. And I think that was his downfall. He couldn't counter having that great offense and making teams play in the box like that. I mean, that's the whole thing about setting a game plan, is trying to figure out what the other team is going to do. You knew what the defense was going to do against the Ravens, and Greg Roman had nothing for it. So that's why he went out, and now we got Monken coming in. So I'm looking at the same thing. I think game 3, game 4, game 5, you should start to see this offense click.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we said, this is the first game. It's really like preseason for them, for a lot of the starters. This is their first time really all playing together with the live bullets coming at them. So I'm looking for some improvement each week. Looking to see the offense take the next step. Again, with Dobbins, the injury, and like you said, it's not looking good with the Achilles. You know, you had the offensive line, you had Linderbaum, and then you had Stanley. You know, so hopefully the injuries aren't outside of Dobbins. Hopefully the injuries aren't, you know, long
Yeah.
term. Hopefully the injuries are, you know, just something we could, you know, get some treatment during the week and be back ready to go next week. Because the offensive line is definitely going to be key.
Yeah.
You know, and then on the other side of the ball with a couple injuries there. So I'm looking for some improvements each week. You know, I'm looking for it to be a gradual process. You know, get some wins when you can. Next week is going to be tough. It's a division game. You know, like you said, Cincinnati's going to be looking to bounce back after getting thrashed today. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not going to be a walk in the park. And where's that game? Is that game a home game?
Yeah, I do
Yep.
not.
Nope, it's a road game.
That's a road game.
It's a
Okay.
road game. So so they're going on the road for the first time next week. You know, Cincinnati's going to be amped up. You know, so I think it's their home opener, so it's going to be, you know, a lot of excitement in the air. Fans are going to be geeked up, and you know, starting 0-2 is not a good thing. And then that will be 2 division losses for Cincinnati as well. So that, you know, they're going to be coming out there ready to roll. You
Absolutely.
know, and so I just hope that they don't get their stuff together next week against the Ravens. You know, hope that they need another week or 2 to get their stuff together, man. And you know, let's go ahead and see if we can get this thing, keep the ship rolling in the right
It,
way, and get that
it's
second win.
I think you know, the division is interesting, and also I like to say, I mean, I think that this is a pivotal season for coach of the Steelers.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin. I think that the Steelers really need to have a good season. They didn't get up good in game
Mm-hmm.
one. They
Mm-hmm.
a pretty good beatdown, but I think this season is sort of critical for him.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he's never had a losing season,
Mm-hmm.
but the stakes are always high with Tomlin and with the Steelers. And I think they definitely need to make the playoffs. If they come short of the playoffs, uh, you know, it's going to be some talk about Tomlin.
Yeah,
And
yeah. All right. Well, week 1 is in the books.
in the books.
You know, week 1 is in the books, man. So we did our little recap, and we try to get this done every game. After every game, a little short recap. You know, got my guy joining me from the round table, Dean. Appreciate you. KZ signed, checked in with us. Uh, trying to get the round table back up this week. So, you know, we get the fellas together. We can talk about the first week in football. We can talk about prime time as well. Got
Yeah.
another big win yesterday. So gonna sign off for now. Appreciate
Shout
y'all that tuned in, man. People,
out
you
to
know,
Coco.
yeah, Coco as well. Big win, man.
Big win.
Big win. You know,
Yes.
I'm sorry I didn't get to see it live, but it was a huge win, man. Proud of Coco, man. This was a great sports weekend. So,
Absolutely.
you know, so we'll be back with the round table during the middle of the week at some point. I'll put out the notices for everybody if you want to check in with us, man. But that's it for today. Ravens 1-0 on the week 2 with Cincinnati, man. We are out.